Okay, that one gets to go back. That wasn't planned. But check this out. I've been here for like 6 minutes. And that's the fun thing about sunfish fishing. Man, they just hit right away. I remember when I was a kid, you know, my friends and I would go fishing for an afternoon and it'd be like, you know, in a competition on how many fish we could catch. And, you know, we were up to like 24, 26, 28, 30 sunfish. You know, we were putting them back, so maybe we were catching the same ones, who knows. But you know what? Pan fishing is fun. Let's see if this guy's good for trapping bait. Good for trapping bait? I'd say yes. I could just throw that Ziploc bag of fish in the freezer, but then when it comes to being out on the trap line and then I want to get one fish, they're all going to be frozen together, right? So this is what I did. I put them all in little sandwich baggies. So they're individually. I'm going to probably use some of these to chop up to put into some bait that I'm going to use for pocket sets. But I wanted to just have them ready whole in case I decide to use them for otter sets, just like whole like that. So going in the freezer. So right here I got some new DPs. These are the Dukes, very famous powder coated. And DP for dog proof, right? So we talked about these last season. These are coon traps. They reach in here, and I have a bunch of No BS DPs that I used last year. I like these a lot. I think they're a little bit cheaper than the Dukes, but I wanted to give the Dukes a try. The one thing about the No BS is that they come with a ground anchor on a chain. So, but here's the thing. I'm not really interested to be pounding in ground anchors for coon traps. This one already got a loop on one end, and I'm gonna go ahead and just make up lengths like, I don't know, let's see, this is about 6 feet, 6, 7, 8 foot lengths, and I'm gonna coil them up and have them ready to go with my DPs so that I can just hook those right up to a tree or a root or something like that. So easy peasy, no pounding and no pulling. I'm definitely going to get some trail cameras out now to see if the animals are changing any pattern, and check out some of my hot spots. And also I have these bones that are I carry around in my ATV. I just, you know, I pick these up off the trail whenever I see them. Last year I found like a whole cow and got a bunch of bones. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to drill these and attach ground anchors to them. So when I do a bone set this year, I'm not just going to put that bone resting there. I'm actually going to anchor it in so it stays, because the critters do like to steal the bone. And if they didn't step in the trap, then the trap's not doing any good anymore. So I'm going to get those ready to anchor. Anchored bone. I'll be putting lure on top of that, but they are not getting this out of the ground because it's going to be held in tight. And then hopefully I can use this over and over again. Hey, Trapper Dan here. I'm with my Uncle Murph. So actually, my Uncle Murph, he knows this, but he inspired me as a youngster being an outdoorsman.
Trapper Snore, sustainable, natural, organic, renewable resource.
Yep. That's what we're doing. So we're getting fancy here, and we're labeling the fur shed. Well, right now, I'm taking the Fat Tire bike and heading out on the trap line for the first time here to set up some cameras. It's not season yet, but I found a few new spots where I want to see how the animals are moving. So we'll give it a couple of weeks with cameras just to see what's going on. But first I have to stop and make sure my buddy's not out here bow hunting, because I don't want to screw him up. Well, I didn't hear back from him, so I'm guessing he's not in his deer stand, so we're gonna get boogieing out here. Oh, it's so nice to be back. What a beautiful day. So this is, I have to check for sure, but I think about a 500-acre farm. And I'm the only trapper allowed in here, which is nice. And there's really only one hunter, although I know on Thanksgiving weekend there's going to be a couple more that got permission just for the weekend. And this is where I caught a lot of stuff last year. So it was my first year here last year, and this year I'm wondering how I affected the population, especially of bobcats and red fox, which I caught the most of. And we're gonna also target more raccoons this year. Try to keep the coons out of the bobcat cubbies as well. But yeah, I'm gonna off-road, so I'm gonna turn off the camera for now. Well, one thing I wish that I was a better mink otter trapper already. But I'm gonna work on that a bit this year because I have this whole stretch of river. Like, I've got a lot of river, and I'm sure an experienced trapper could look through here and like pick out some amazing spots. But I'm just gonna learn this year and see how it goes. Here I am at this hard to point when you're on camera, this crossover. Every time I put a camera on a crossover, I get an amazing amount of traffic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a camera on this one because I'm trying to figure out where they're stepping. Now, I've heard trappers notch logs, like see where that branch is going across out there? I could expect that they're going to step over that and notch the log and then set a trap right in the wood and sort of hide it, maybe put a little piece of moss, make it nice for them to step there. That's an awful lot of work, and it's also all the way out in the middle of the river. And this is the lowest this river will probably ever be. It's just gonna get higher and nastier. So I'd rather see if I can get them just coming off the log at the end than worry about that. But I wanna know kind of like where they're stepping. I can see, I've been here a couple times and I can see where it's kind of worn, but I haven't seen a specific footprint or anything. So anyways, we're gonna put a camera in here and see what happens. Oh my gosh, look at this in here. When I was a little kid, I used to play in places like this, and I used to call them paradise. What a beautiful stretch of river. So I'm not that experienced as well with putting cameras on a river, but what I'm interested in is if I can get any mink or otters or even beavers, you know, just sort of moving through. Of course, raccoons, of course, anything crossing, but I'm looking here at this shallow spot. I think anywhere in here is a good spot that I would see an animal above water that would trigger the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and put one camera right in here. Also, it's pretty less likely for people to see my camera and take it, because even though I have permission on this private property, there's plenty of loiterers. Well, anyone who watched my last season, this spot was very productive for me. It's right at the corner, right where this road funnels into this field. I never caught anything on that corner, but over here on this corner, I caught a bobcat and several fox. I put a little hay set right out here, and the coyotes sort of walked the edge of it, which means maybe I didn't blend it that good, but in any case, I'm just looking to see if there's any sign. Last year I remember seeing droppings on this corner here, which bobcat droppings, which I don't see right now. But anyways, I probably will set here again. And over in here, I had a cubby set way out over there. I put a deer up in the brush way over there. And I caught a lot of things on the other side of that tree line. On this side of the tree line over here, that cubby set never had any activity at all. So, which is interesting to me, because it does prove actually the northwest wind. So the prevailing wind is blowing to the other side of those trees. And so maybe that's why all the sets on the other side of that worked out better. But I just thought this looked so good, but you know what? Working with the winds really makes a difference. Also, looking at this, so this is this big tree dump, right? And there's a road here, and that's how I get to the other side of that tree line. And there's always traffic of up and down this road of tracks. And mainly there's coming through here, this run over to the next field. And I never got to trap that other field over there, but I got my trapping permission limited in a farm next to this, so I think it'll give me the opportunity to expand into here if I can find a way over. Well, I can see the corn isn't cut down there yet. Well, I know another road that goes over there, but it would be pretty cool if I could target this spot. Well, for me, this is a very weird camera setup, but I'm in the thick brush, and there's that field down there. And then way out over there, my bike is out there, but this is an obvious trail through the brush. And this stone wall is like a highway too. So I stuck a camera right here, basically watching this. Very tight quarters. This rock in the road last year was a very active toilet, and I can see the remnants, but nothing fresh. There's definitely droppings here. Bobcat and coyotes were using this spot, and maybe it's just as the season gets cooler that'll be more evident here. But I ended up putting a trap in the ground right under my foot, right in there. Never got anything on it. In fact, the trap was dug up, so I did something wrong. But what I like about this spot is this rock is here, and this trail, that's a heavy game trail right through there. And last year I did set that in the woods up in there, and I had the trap tripped a couple times but didn't catch anything. So I gotta work on that, but I think it's still a really good spot. It goes from, again, one field to another, and it's just a narrow trail. Probably used a lot by raccoons, but I saw coyote tracks through here for sure, and fox last year. Whew, it's sunny out. Another thing that I am going to do that I didn't do last year is I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna get a bunch of my cubbies built. So those of you who didn't watch or you don't know, a cubby is basically kind of like a little lean-to shelter that is specifically for me for trapping bobcats. But I got a lot of fox and I got one fisher on the cubbies. And when you go out the first day, you're setting your traps and you're building cubbies, it's a long day. So I will come out, and some of my locations are already left, like the supplies. So there's logs and sticks and things, and I'll just kind of get the cubbies built and ready so that the first day I set my traps, it won't be so much work. What's cool about being on a property for a consecutive year, for me in this case just the second year, is I know from last year's snow where all the animals move. And so I have that ahead of the game this year. So let me show you another one of those. So this is where I just came from. So I came up this road and I'm heading back. But this is a natural funnel. I wish I could set more on this road. I did set a bone set in this road last year, but a truck drove over it. And as deer season comes, this road gets busy with trucks. So it's hard to set on it. But this right here is a super highway. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but maybe if I get down low, but there's a trail right through there, and I saw fox and raccoon tracks on that just about every day fresh when there was snow. And they cross the road right by my bike here, and they just go off into there, and back and forth they go. So I'm gonna be setting right in this trail this year, right away when I start setting traps. So tomorrow is actually the first day of trapping season for a lot of the animals I would trap, but it is 80 degrees out today, and I'm sure a lot of fur is not prime. So I am not gonna start until it gets cold out and until a later date. But on this particular farm I'm on right here, the farm owners have asked me to trap only raccoons and groundhogs this year. They want to keep some of the predators because they have a lot of rabbit problems. So I totally respect that, and that's what we're going to do. So Willie and I are out here today setting some groundhog traps, and I'll show you what we're doing. I am absolutely not experienced with groundhog trapping like this, but I did watch a couple YouTubes of Jim Comstock, and it looked pretty easy. You block it in. I mean, I've caught a few this way, but I'm hoping to show the farmer I can clear some of these groundhogs out for him so he doesn't have to worry about the predators trying to take care of them. And then maybe next year we'll get back in here on the fox and coyotes and bobcats. I wanted to make a few announcements here on Trapline Talk that I'm now going to be calling it Trapper Snore. So anybody who has watched me, you know that I promote sustainable, natural, organic, renewable resource trapping, and I figured that is a little bit more of a unique name for my YouTube channel. since there is something like Trappers Talk out there on Facebook, and yeah, anyways, we have a new logo, bing, right here, and we are going to be called Trapper Snore. I really want to highlight the ethical side of trapping and help the world understand that this is a renewable resource and it's actually really good for the planet. It's a healthy activity for trappers to do, and trapping is well and alive today. And especially here in New York State, we have a really diverse wildlife to harvest. Our fur bearers are doing well, and our state DEC really helps to control us and put in best management practices laws to help us help the animals out there and take a harvest that is usable. So, anyways, welcome to Trapper Snore. So thanks again for watching. This year I will be asking people to subscribe and like, and let's comment and talk about what's going on out here on the trap line. I'm Trapper Dan, and this is Trapper Snore, sustainable, natural, organic, and renewable resource.